Hello there, loves. Welcome to another episode, and I am so excited because today we are talking about signs that your mother is a narcissist. Honestly, what to do about it and how to actually be there for yourself. So let's get into it. Number one, if you are living with a narcissistic caretaker, and maybe it is your mother, one of the things that you want to be mindful of is their lack of empathy. They don't care about anything else, unfortunately, except for themselves. And it is the hard pill to swallow. And they don't have any empathy for anybody else's concerns, what you might be going through, the problems you might be facing, because everything is turned back on themselves. And truthfully, they struggle to connect with anybody else's emotions and needs because they are so focused and they're so consumed with their own internal drama, dialogue, and what is going on with them. So many times you will tell them something, they will turn it back around them and why their situation is far worse, their situation, what they're going through is far greater because they just lack empathy. Number two, they have some manipulative behavior, which means they may use manipulation. They may guilt you. They may have emotional blackmail, which means that you tell them something and they may use that later to gain control and power over you and maybe even influence your decisions. Number three, now this is something that you might actually have experienced or know somebody that has experienced this because gaslighting has been the word of the year. And so number three is gaslighting, which it just means they may distort your perception of reality, causing you to think that the things that you're going through are less than, or minimizing your experience of things, or maybe even making you doubt your own feelings, your own thoughts, or maybe even have you feeling a little bit confused. Number four, they have difficulty accepting any criticism. Now, you guys, this is huge because a narcissistic caretaker overreact to things and they often have these emotional outbursts and they respond angrily to any sort of criticism, often deflecting and getting hyper defensive when you're just trying to share what's going on with you and how things are landing for you. Number five, they have some boundary issues. In fact, there are no boundaries. Narcissistic caretakers, they fully disregard your personal boundaries and they invade your privacy. They treat you as a full extension of themselves. I know that this is a hard one, especially coming from immigrant backgrounds or backgrounds of Asian descent or cultures that have typically a collective ingrained society on the backings of your upbringing. And so this one is a hard one to swallow, but it happens all the time. Number six, my personal favorite is they do not have personal responsibility. They actually lack taking any sort of personal responsibility. It's actually quite difficult for them to take any ownership. So you'll never hear them say, I'm sorry for doing this. I apologize that I made you feel that way. It is just not in their psyche to accept or own what is theirs in that relationship or in the conflict. This is because they constantly blame others for their shortcomings. They constantly blame others for what is going on with them. And if you're bringing something up, caution, because it's kind of like adding oil to the fire and it's only going to get worse and grow. Many times they will belittle your feelings, often making you feel worse. Number seven, they have unpredictable mood swings. So you might have them be at a high here and then the next day at a low here, or because they are so erratic in their emotional instability, you may get the other end of that. And it's really challenging to predict their reactions. If they're in a good mood for you to bring something up, or if they just had another bad day, or if they're going through another season or another funk. And many times it'll deflect back onto you. And it'll also be a weapon to get more riled up. Because narcissists, they love conflict and they love when things are coming up in the surface, in the air, about a disagreement, a setback, a challenge, a relationship. And that gives them fuel and that gives them fire. Now, knowing the 7 signs that your mom is a narcissist, well, here's what you can do. You can't control their emotional outbursts, but what you can control is yourself. You can practice mindfulness. You can actually practice regulating your nervous system. And that might look like taking you a few breaths, putting your hand over your heart, bringing that oxytocin back into your body, and just taking a few breaths in and out. even walking away to protect your energy if you feel like things are getting riled up. Other ways of really controlling your own reactions is taking a pause and journaling out your feelings. Maybe going into a part of your room or your closet, screaming into a pillow, shaking your hands or moving the energy, stomping your feet, groaning, screaming out loud, and allowing yourself to have a good cry. These are all ways to release and connect back to yourself. It also helps you release that cortisol, which is the stress hormone that we all have when we are in fight, flight, or freeze. Number 2, limit your interaction. Remember, they are just doing the best that they can. There was a point in time where they had to survive, and as a result, narcissism became a tendency where they protected themselves because they had nobody else protecting them. Remember, hurt people hurt people. And so they may not be doing it consciously. It may be completely subconscious. It may be their inner child wanting to self-sabotage again and again because that's all they grew up. Now, I'm not asking you to pity them. I'm not asking you to feel bad for them. Maybe I'm asking you to, knowing what you know now, limit your interactions. They just can't change unless they are willing to actually do the work and change. But you can limit yourself. You can limit your energy and the amount of time that you spend with them, especially when they are out of regulation. Number 3, this is a big one. Set boundaries. I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, Neeta, it's so hard to set boundaries with my narcissistic mother. I know. And what you can do is say, hey, I'm coming from a place of love. I really want this to land for you. And I want you to know that I'm available for talking about X, Y, and Z. But I'm not available of talking about your coworkers with you, or how much you hate your relationship, or how much you hate that person that wronged you. I'm not available for those conversations. So giving them a box or container of what you are available for and what you are not available for, you are starting to teach them the way that they should be treating you. And we can do this with respect, we can do this with love, and we can create a safe environment where there could potentially be a place your boundaries being met. Know that, though, they will be the ones that have the most difficult time appreciating what your boundaries are. But that's going to be the most important, to still have it written down and to actually recite those boundaries with them. Number 4, do not take anything she says personally. And I want to say that again, not take anything she says personally. She can't help it. She can't control it. And maybe at some point she will want to, and maybe at some point, maybe you guys will be watching this video together. But for now, allow it and know your worth. Know that you are incredible, you are amazing, and you, just watching this video, are actually doing the work. Which brings me to point 5. Focus on growing yourself. We can't change anyone else, but we can focus on the amount of knowledge that we have about this topic, the ways that we can regulate our nervous system, how we can grow our communication skills so we're not walking on eggshells, but we're actually speaking our truth in ways that are affirming ourselves, and that you are not afraid to limit your time with somebody that doesn't really make you feel good. So we've recapped 7 ways or signs that your mother is a narcissist, and I've also given you 5 tips of what you can do to take control of your situation today. Please share this with a friend, please share this with a colleague, maybe a cousin, a relative. If you like this video, go ahead and tell me what you are going to try in the comments below, as well as subscribing for more content like this. I'll see you next time.